Okay, we are back, and I'm moving on to doing DLL injection in the meantime. Now I sort of did a little bit of work off stream, and so I guess a little bit is a bit of an understatement. I did a fair amount of work. So let's go over that. So before we were able to go down somewhere. Yes, we were able to actually load ourselves. We were able to get our file name and then load ourselves into the remote process. And I'm deciding to use the image-based pseudo variable for now. It's an MSVC only thing, but I think GCC has like something close to that. I think it's like, right, it's like dash executable start or something. Yeah. So we have other pseudo variables we can also use in place of image base, and that's just a hashtag to find a way, to be honest. Right, so then after that, oh, I guess another thing I did is that in addition to just loading the library, I also changed the signature so that it saves the modules in a variable. And why that's important is because my mind's blanking here. Should probably take care of myself a little bit better than I have. My mind's been blanking quite a lot. So yeah, something's going on there. Right, and why I do this is because in target init, yes, I have these modules, and I want to actually write them to the, yes, to the remote process so that we don't have to waste any time doing that. Inside the target itself. So I can do a target init. Yep. And then if it was successful, create the remote. Right, so how I'm deciding to pass off the DLLs to the remote process is also that I take an argv and I actually allocate space for it, so that we can give that to the other process, and that's what I do here. Yes, I also have a target translate, which just it's a very simple function. Yes, it just yep, it takes our H module that we have in the other process, subtract our image base from it, and add the virtual address. And that makes it really easy instead of having to like maybe get the remote process or the remote address somehow from there. Let's see. Right, and I also made a function called process.rpc. It turns out, yes, I was creating remote threads quite a lot, and then just closing the handle soon afterwards. So I just made a function for that. And now I have just a simple function here That doesn't really do much. Right, and I also have a couple of to-dos. They're mostly related to, right, I wanted to also give the option to either do a command line or just do a process ID and have that be fine as well. Which is probably the more common use case, because sometimes paths can get annoying. Or maybe, like, for instance, if you wanted to start a game using Steam, you can't really do that with just a command line here. And so it's more ideal to just attach to the process ID and inject that way. And that's a valid use case. Okay, so arg, right, so the last term of argv is null, so I can just kind of keep going until that's not null anymore. Okay, so now if you recall, we can't actually use any of the kernel 32 functions directly because none of the imports have been done yet. So what we're gonna do instead is we have this like target table, and I've written to this in target.init that has all the pointers to the kernel 32 functions, and so I don't need to call them directly anymore. I can just use those. And let's see, we're gonna just do h module hlib equals target dot lp load library a. We're gonna give it this DLL, and then if hlib is equivalent to null, we're gonna return. Yep, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna return tilde I, and then we're also gonna take this advice. Yeah, so okay. If loading a library, if preloading a library fails, do not unload other libraries. Let's actually put this down here, and then we don't need this to do anymore. How nice. It makes me feel accomplished completing all these very small to-dos. Sure, so let's make it. Yep. Now I sort of forget what I have, right? What does the injection do? Oh yes, it just prints out all the module names. Okay. So let's do that. Hello.exe. Oh nice, segmentation fault. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's already not very promising. Sure, let me... It's a simple function right now, so maybe I have missed something. Oh, wait, that's right. The debug information is in there. I could use raddbg right now. Target, yeah, I want to know the target. Can I... How do I actually disassemble this? Because that's all I kind of want to do. I just kind of want to disassemble just this area. I guess what also happened, injection.dll, hello.exe. Right, I had a breakpoint before. I know it looks like it, but I promise I'm not. Not. That's not what's happening here. Okay, hold on while I. Yes. Oh my gosh, no. Please, please. Okay, let's try this. Oh, okay. So I think it's here. I think it actually caught... Huh, it seems to have caught the... Where's the target main again? Okay, I keep forgetting. This. Oh, there we go. Go to disassembly. Yes. I want to see what's going on here. Right. So we're just setting up stack frame. What? Where's that? Oh, it's here. What in the world is it jumping to here? What does this mean? I mean, I'm guessing it's like jumping outside here. Oh, yeah, that is what it's doing. Oh, okay, I see what it's doing. It's kind of being helpful and just giving me the low one. The low word. Or something. Is it a word? Is that what it is? Oh, because it's a jump to a word, then it just gives you the low word. I see. Okay, D word. Right. We're on x86. I should probably be more precise about my terminology. Okay, jumps to the lower D word. Right, so we do this call to... Yeah, so there shouldn't be any funny business going on. Like, this is the only rip relative thing I'm seeing right now. And everything else is like an RSP or whatever. I'm surprised they didn't set up RBP here. That's probably what I'd do if I was making a non-optimizing compiler, is just set up RBP and then do everything relative to that. The reason particularly why I'm actually surprised is because it's, if you know anything about like the x86 instruction set, okay, that sounds a bit harsh. If there's a certain quirk in the x86 instruction set where when you're going to encode like the SID byte or something like it, not the SID byte, yes, when you use RSP, you don't really have a choice but to use a SID byte, whereas if you used RBP, you would just have a displacement. Which is why that's kind of an easy way to like get rid of the SID byte right then and there. It's just to use RBP and then don't use RSP. It's not really a big deal, but you know, that's sort of like a neat the more you know moment. Yeah, so there's I think this is crashing here. I'm not sure why it's crashing here. Yeah. Wait, isn't there like a backtrace or something like that? Yes. So we're here. Okay, then what's R11? It's just 0. So I ended up doing a null. I ended up reading a null pointer. Somehow. Wait, how did I read a null pointer? Oh, you want to know a really easy way to sort of debug this right now? It would be to yeah, so invoke it in myself, and then that actually makes that really easy. Right, okay, target and alright, let's oh, did I quit the debugger already? Sure. Oh yeah, I forgot that was something I did at some point. So it works on my own host. Doesn't work on remote hosts. Yeah, and part of the problem is it's sort of yes, I have backtraces deep in like ntdll and kernel-based.dll, so that's not particularly helpful. What is RCX and RDI? Is there a way I can get like that in hex? I mean, there should be. Yeah, that's a bunch of garbage. Okay. Let me actually change the debugger so that it does load all the XE. So if a DLL, no. Did I mess up create remote arcv somehow? Oh, yes. Yes, I did. Okay. Yes. So I did this with pointers, but then, psych, that's the wrong pointer. Okay. So then what I'm actually supposed to do is for int I equals 0, I is less than argc I plus plus, temp sub I equals, I think I can get away with target translate again. No, I can't. Okay. Temp sub I plus equals human pointer LP remote minus no wait, yeah, it's temp. Yes, and so temp is my temporary memory for just doing this. And then what I'm doing here is I'm adjusting all the pointers that I had for here. And I'm adjusting them so that they actually properly point to so they point to the memory in the remote process. Okay, I got it. I got it. Yeah. Target name. Let me take that out as well. Okay. Oh, it didn't like stop long enough to make me see it. Sure, I'll do F10 and then put a breakpoint at the end. Here. Yes, so it worked now. I was just being a little doofus. But yeah, you can sort of see what we're doing here, and that's cool. When did they start doing kernel based though? I don't think I've seen kernel based for some time. Well, I think ever, really. I knew about kernel 32 and NTDLL, but I didn't know about kernel base. What is kernel base.dll? I don't care what everyone is getting wrong. Automatically created when Windows is installed and is located in the system folder. It acts as a bridge between the operating system and applications, allowing them to communicate and interact. Kernel-based.dll handles the errors and exceptions that occur when the application is running and provides functions for managing blah 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 blah. Okay, maybe that's just a thing that's auto-loaded now. I don't know. Windows does kind of whatever it wants, whenever it wants. Yeah, it's probably not that interesting. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we're good now. Okay. I think this is actually a good time to commit. Load libraries. Okay, cool. So now inside here, I want to actually start finding things like, yeah, so I want to start finding things like import address tables and export address tables. So we're going to take an H module, Hmod, and we're gonna, I know Windows had like a bunch of definitions for this sort of stuff. Like I should be able to look up image DOS header or something. Yeah, there's like things like this. No, that's not exactly what I want. Yeah, it's like in WinNT. And so that should be convenient for me to use. Image DOS header. Wait, what? Okay. This is probably a good thing to start at this point. Yeah, and it's also down here too. Is it the file header? No, that's not it. NT headers? That's not it either. I'm surprised they don't really document this here. I don't know if that matters much. No, it doesn't really matter much. Image DOS. No, wait. So what is it that I want? Is it a section header? Import. I guess there's also this from there. Oh, right, but I can't use functions anyways. Or yes, I can still use functions, just not directly. What is it? Yeah, it's like image data. image data directory p export directory yeah, and then after that it's actually kind of trivial. Let me actually look at the p format spec. This is also a good thing to store. There we go. Import address. Yep, so you have the import address table right there. There's also the import table itself. And these are just a bunch of addresses, if I remember correct. Yep. Okay, but that's different from the import table itself. Do they have something for the import? Import. I guess not, which is fine. I can just kind of define it right now. Type def image. Import directory table. Should probably put it more in target because I don't really care for the injection to use it. The single comment thing is kind of annoying. Like, single comments are meant to be single comments. I'm not sure why this ended up being a default anyways. I should change that soon. So we have RVA and characteristics. Oh, it used to be characteristics, but now it's not. Keyword timestamp. Keyword forwarder. Dword. IAT RVA. Name RVA. Dword DW. Oh, this is the ILT, not the IAT. This is the IAT. What is this? Type def. Yeah, void pointer. Import address table. And then image. Because it's literally just a table of pointers, if I remembered that correctly. Or wait, no. Okay, so I shouldn't do that because particularly, what is it? Yeah, I want to be able to deal with 32-bit and 64-bit addresses. So we'll make it actually something like this. I do have SDN, right? Maybe not. I don't know. It's probably somewhere. Impeg, import address 64 table. An import lookup table is an array of 32-bit numbers for PE32 or an array of 64-bit numbers for PE32 plus. Each entry describes the bit field format described in the following table. In this format, 31 is the most significant bit, and bit 63 is the most significant bit. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. The collection of these entries describes all the imports of a given DLL. Last entry set to 0 in the table. Oh, so this is a difference between... Okay. Yeah, that sounds cool. Okay, I see. Wait. Okay, I actually forgot this detail. So let me get this straight. So you put an RVA here, which is less than 32 bits, and you put an ordinal number here, which is also less than 32 bits, and yet you decided to expand it to 64 bits. I'm sure if someone at Microsoft explained it, it would make sense, but it just seems kind of funny now. Okay, so that's fine. Type def un32-t import lookup 32 table. '64 table. Okay. And I think that should be fine now. Yeah, there's not really anything else that's particularly interesting. Okay. How about the exports? I want to get that done too. Data section. Right, so we have the export directory table now. Yep. Oh, you have a minor and major version number. I actually didn't know that. Does anyone actually use that though? I'm sure someone uses it. So what is this? dword dw flags. Dword dw timestamp. Dword dw major. Dword dw minor. Dword dw name RVA. Dword dw ordinal. Oh, interesting. Okay. So there's different bases for that. Dword dw or dw entries. Dword. By the way, these are no, they're not. Some of them are just words. It's all words to me. Dword dw names, dword, eat RVA. I too like to eat RVAs. Dword, dw name. Pointer RVA. Dword, dw ordinal RVA. RVA translate. Return. No, okay. So return. Uh-oh. Okay. Paste? No. Whatever. I know Vim like saves recovery files. It's fine. Oh, it's my keyboard. My keyboard killed itself. Okay. Okay. That probably should have been the first thing I tried. I don't know. I just universally assume that software just sucks and just crashes for no reason. Yep, please recover. Okay. And now delete. Cool. Plus RVA. Yep. Get inline it as well. I don't really think that's necessary. I think GCC will take a look at that and be like, yep, I can inline that. That's no problem. Well, not even just GCC, probably MSVC as well. Just compilers in general, they should be able to see like a static function with just one expression and be fine with that. Not that it even matters if I put inline here or not. I think the only reason I'm skeptical to put inline is because if you actually go back to C89, inline's not a thing, and so the compiler will complain about that if you're going all the way back to there, but we're not really doing C89 in the first place. We don't even have, like, we're literally using just-in-time declarations here. If you want to know all the ways C89 is cursed, I encourage you to look that up, but we don't really need to worry about that there. Either way, I don't really have to worry. Like, inline's just more words in the source file that I don't really care for, so I'm not going to bother. So what is it that I actually want? I think the big thing is that yeah, I just wanted to find some of these various tables. So the export address table. Oh, this is different from import. Because it uses RVAs instead of actual raw pointers. Which makes sense because you don't really need raw pointers for your own exports. Whereas with imports, you actually do kind of want that so you can make indirect call optimizations. If that makes sense. Oh yeah, and you also get to, right, you have 2 pointers you want. That. Wait, that's the forwarder read. Okay, interesting. Export a definition from another image, making it. I actually literally didn't know that PE files had this. This is kind of exciting. Okay, that's super interesting. So the symbol is simultaneously exported and imported. So in kernel 32, in which knows XP, heap alloc is forwarded to entity DLL, RTL allocate heap. Okay, right. Because I'm thinking about if I actually want to continue making... I don't think this would help my injector in any way specifically. Because I think I'm trying to do like the reverse of this, which... So I have my own function and I want to... Or no, this is for if you don't have your own function and you have another DLL that has the function, but you want to alias it. I see. Okay, this is neat. So what is this generally useful for? Oh, I think this could be it could be useful for making like extension DLLs specifically. Like, I'm trying to think here. This might actually be useful in preloads too, actually. Because if you sort of think about a preload, then what happens here is Yes, that you have your sort of you have your original DLL, and then you have your DLL, and then no, because it doesn't really work like that. Like if you were to compile an application specifically to target your DLL, that could work. But it doesn't work for like overwriting the functions inside of an already compiled executable. Like I think there's a DLL search order for sure, which maybe can be used here. System searches in this order: DLL direction, API says, desktop, loaded module list, known DLLs. Yeah, because like known DLLs are loaded before, but maybe we can sort of hijack this. I forget. But what is DLL redirection? Because that might actually be DLL redirection. Because that might be much more interesting. .local, 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 and .local debugging. I love these names. If your application depends on a specific version of a shared DLL and another application is installed with a newer or older version of that DLL, then you can cause powerability problems and instability. It can cause your app to start to fail. Okay. The DLL folder looks in the folder of the calling process was loaded from before it looks in other file system locations. So one workaround is to install the DLL that you're in. Right, that effectively makes the DLL private, but that doesn't solve the problem for COM specifically. Two incompatible versions of the COM server can be installed and registered, even on different file system locations. Sure, but there's only one place to register the COM server, so only the latest registered COM server will be activated. You can use redirection to solve these problems. That sounds like the most cursed statements I've ever read. Which I'm not surprised, because COM is generally cursed. Loading and testing private binaries. Rules that a DLL loader follows ensure that some DLLs are loaded from Windows system locations. These rules avoid planting attacks where the adversary put codes they wrote in a location they can write to and then convince some process to load and execute it. But the loader's rules also make it more difficult to work on OS components because to run them requires updating the system, and that's a very impactful change. But you can use redirection to load private copies of DLLs for purposes such as testing or measuring performance impact of a code change. I want this. Yes, please. How do I do it? Right, because actually doing this, if I were to able to do whatever DLL redirection is, then this is actually perfect for me. Because yes, then I get to actually like skip all of these things. And so then I can introduce my own kernel32.dll, use the forwarders to sort of make that easier. And so then I don't need to do all this injection stuff. I can sort of use my own kernel32 and then use DLL redirection. Supposing I actually know what's actually going on here. And that sort of makes it a lot nicer, like antiviruses don't have to be so annoying, and everyone's happy, right? Okay, so that's exciting. Sorry for sort of going down this rabbit hole at the moment, but I just find this extremely interesting, and it might avoid like a bunch of work that I have to do here. Okay, anyways, your options. In fact, there are two ways to ensure that your apps uses the version of the DLL that you want it to. DLL redirection, continue to read this topic for more details, or side-by-side components. described in topic-isolated applications and side-by-side assemblies. If you're an app developer or an administrator, then you should use DLL direction for existing applications. Yes, that's perfect. Thank you. That's because it doesn't require any changes to the app itself. Thank you. But if you're creating a new app or updating an existing app, you want to isolate your app from potential problems, then create a side-by-side component. Oh my gosh, this is perfect. Optional, configure the registry. To enable DLL redirection machine-wide, you must create a new registry value. Under the key blah 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 blah, create a new dword value with... I'm favoriting this page, by the way. Create a new dword value with the name dev override enable. Set the value to 1 and restart your computer. Or use the command below. Right. Okay. With that registry value set, .local DLL redirection is respected even if the app has an application manifest. Create a redirection file folder. To use DLL redirection, you'll need to create a redirection file or a redirection folder, depending on the kind of app you have, as we'll see in later sections in this topic. How to create redirect app DLLs for packaged apps. Packaged app requires a special folder structure for DLL redirection. The following path is where the loader will look when the redirection is enabled. Blah, 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 blah. Wait, is this for just for packages? That's a bit sad. Okay, let's read a little bit more of it. Maybe we'll find something more interesting. Set up a pre-built event for your Visual Studio Start without debugging or start debugging experience. Sure you have this. Copy any DLLs that you built locally and wish to use in preference to system deploy DLLs into the application.local directory. If it exists, blah, 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 copy, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Wait, what is inter? Actually, not really sure what's going on there. Approach described here, using an intermediate directory keeps your source code control less bit clean, reduces the possibility of accidentally committing a compiled binary. Next, you just have to redeploy your project. Copying the files manually. If you're not able to use your VCX proj in the way shown above, then you can achieve the same ends by hand on your target device with a couple of steps. Oh, okay, there's an unpackaged apps deal. Okay. So how to redirect DLLs for unpackaged apps. The redirection file must be named your app name.local. So if your app's name is editor.exe, then your redirect. Ooh, okay. Sure. Okay. So if I'm getting this right, so supposing I wanted to go to, yes, to Steam apps. Okay. So supposing I wanted to say use DLL redirection on Half-Life, I would do hl.exe.local. Okay, that I get it now. You must install the redirection file in the executables folder. Oh, interesting. So I have to also put it in here. The contents of a redirection file are ignored. Its presence alone causes the DLL... Wait, hold on, what? That actually seems insecure? Because we were trying to... Right, like the entire point of having the known DLLs thing is so that you can't just load before it, but this seems to be able to do just that. Okay, I'll read on, but because I'm sure someone else like saw that sort of would have saw that sort of trick before I did. The contents of a redirection file are ignored. Its presence alone causes. Oh, okay, so it's completely ignored. So its presence alone causes the DLL loader to check the executable folders first when it loads the DLL. Wait. What? If you're using Wait, if you're using DLL redirection and the app doesn't have access to all the drives and directories in the search order, then the library stops featuring as soon as. Okay, sure, I get that. Okay, so if the app calls load library using the following path, and if both this and this exist, load library loads this, otherwise. Okay. It's very weird because if you. Right, because if you do that, then DLL. The thing is, if you do DLL direction and you do known DLLs, like, I'm not crazy. That sort of defeats the purpose of having known DLLs, right? If you can just do DLL redirection like that. Because, like, a malicious app could just make the .local file, and then they make the DLL file, and then there you go. Yeah. Okay. I think this would be a very good time to stop the stream here, because this is getting very interesting. I might have caught an oversight. I'd have to like test it on my machine, but we'll see what happens. Okay. Yeah, fun stream. Let's go. I will investigate this, and I will have updates on this later. It should be an interesting thing to look at. Anyways. Right, bye. Fun stream.